if that's going to be allowed.
I want to ask you one question before I get Shadi on, if that's all right, because I think there's still something to be said about the main controversy about this particular essay. So let me read something that you've written. You said, according to the Rashi opposition, American Muslims should support the right of gay marriage under US law. This is really the crux of the problem here, in terms of controversy, because people are saying, on what grounds, on what Islamic grounds, when you say the word should here, is this what, mubah, is it istihbab, is it wujub, is it obligatory, is it recommended, what is the classification that you're making it? I mean, when you're saying we should in fact engage in so much as we would support the right of gay marriage, doesn't this seem very contrary to the da'wah of Lut alayhi salam, for example, who very much was opposed to these kinds of practices, let alone facilitated it? On what Islamic...
I don't think Lut alayhi salam talked about gay marriage.
Lut alayhi salam did not talk about gay marriage. That's his response. Let's reflect on that for a second. Lut alayhi salam did not talk about gay marriage. So yeah, it's unprecedented. You're right. He didn't talk about. He didn't use the acronym. Lut alayhi salam didn't use the word LGBT actually. So I mean, it's all up for grabs. This is a nazila. That word in the Quran is not found. LGBTQ. Where's the word for queer? Where's the word for bisexual in the Quran actually? So it hasn't been discussed. He didn't mention anything about that. So we need to use our ijtihad from our year of Arabic in Casa in Egypt to determine what is really the what's the ijtihad here.
Well, he talked about sex between man and man. Right?
Okay, I mean, look, if we want to talk about sex between men and sex between women, that's haram. Like if someone comes and asks me, what should Muslims say about liwat? They should say this is haram, and they should do amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar on that. They should say this is.
We have to amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar on liwat, but support the institutionalization and proliferation and celebration and all of these LGBT rights. But we also do amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar when it comes to liwat. Does he know what amr bil ma'ruf means? What is amr bil ma'ruf, Johnathan Brown?
Considered sinful in my religion, and I don't believe it's pleasing to God.
Doesn't it defy common sense that
it defies common sense? I mean, how much more polite can you be?
If the thing is haram, then the thing which leads to it and facilitates it is
no, because you're not. I mean, you don't. I don't know. Not to get too graphic, but you don't need to be married to do this stuff, right? So it's legal. Like this, liwat is legal in the United States. That's it.
Yeah. So is zina. Zina is also legal. Many things are legal. How does that entail that Muslims should support those things? How does that follow? And how is that consistent with amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar? How is that consistent with the sunnah and the da'wah of Lut alayhi salam? How is that consistent with any conception of Islamic ethics? But this is Brown is just hand waving all of these issues.
No, I understand that. Yeah,
since the early 2000s.
Why as Muslims do we need to support gay marriage in particular? Why have you recommended this?
I don't support gay marriage. I support the right to marriage for gay people.
I don't support gay marriage. I support the right of people to have gay marriage. I don't support zina. I support the right of people to engage in zina. I don't support nudist rights. I just support the right of people to be naked in public and to be nudists in public. I don't support Satan worship. I just support the right of people to engage in Satan worship. On and on and on.
Why?
Why is that? Because I want the same. Look at.
So here's another point. I support the right of gay people to get married. They already have that right. They have always had that right. Because you can get married. But marriage is between a man and a woman. Gay people have the right to marriage. The only way that you can argue is that you want people to have the right to gay marriage. That means you are supporting gay marriage. Okay? These kinds of semantic games that Brown wants to play, even though in his paper he doesn't make a big deal about this distinction that supposedly is so key to understanding his views. He doesn't distinguish between supporting gay marriage versus supporting the right of people to have gay marriage. That doesn't factor anywhere in his essay. He's only making a big deal about it now to weasel his way out of all of the pressure that he's facing. And he has been facing for years. But it also doesn't make sense legally and conceptually. And this is what the Supreme Court justices that opposed in the Obergefell decision in 2016 for legalizing gay marriage, they argued this. They said that people who are gay, they already have the right to get married, and the U.S. will grant them marriage licenses and will grant them all of the benefits, the federal, state level benefits that come with marriage. They can get married to the opposite sex. But this redefinition of marriage and saying that marriage is whatever you want, you can be a man marrying a man, a woman marrying a woman, or whatever. Okay? This is what was in question. This is exactly what was in question. And 4 of the Supreme Court judges, the conservative judges, said that this is legally incoherent. This is not discrimination. They already have the right to get married and get all the benefits. If you want to redefine marriage and introduce this concept of quote-unquote gay marriage, then this is something new. This is something that you're introducing, that you're forcing the government to recognize and to facilitate using taxpayer money, using all kinds of resources.
What was the gay marriage case about? It didn't say, it wasn't, can gays get married? It was, does the government have a right to say that marriage is only between a man and a woman? That's the debate, right? Now, my marriage as a Muslim has nothing to do with the U.S. government. My marriage is is a contract between me and my wife's family.
Okay. My marriage has nothing to do with the U.S. government. And this belies a deep ignorance of the law in the U.S. and in any country in the modern world. There is plenty that the government has to do with everyone's marriages. You have to register your marriages, and states will give you a license so that your marriage is licensed, and then you get certain tax benefits. You get tax benefits, social security benefits, inheritance benefits, employment benefits, insurance benefits. Your marriage plays a big factor into the law of the land. So to say that the government has nothing to do with your marriage is just plain ignorance, is plain ignorance of the law. And furthermore, there's a reason why the government has given these kinds of benefits to incentivize marriage between a man and a woman, because that kind of marriage benefits society. Having stable families with committed husband and wife that are having children, this benefits society. It means more children. It means less crime. It means less homelessness. It means less drug use. It means less psychological damage from trauma, and all of these kinds of factors that are associated with stable, happy families, committed relationships. All of those benefits, countries recognize this. Secular countries recognize this, and so they incentivized marriage between a man and a woman and gave all of these kinds of benefits to benefit society, benefit their country, and so on. Even it was just purely materialistic. Even some of these atheistic countries incentivize marriage because of this. Gay marriage is completely contrary to all of those benefits, okay? Because it does that kind of relationship destroys stable families. Those kinds of relationships take away from stable relationships. There's no such thing as a kind of committed monogamy within homosexual relationships. And this is a fact. The statistics show that within typical marriages between a man and a woman, non-Muslims, 75% of those marriages are 100% monogamous, and only about 20 to 25% is there any infidelity, any cheating, any extramarital activity in heterosexual marriages. In gay marriages, only 4% will you find fidelity, where it's just monogamous. 96% of gay couples that are married will engage in extramarital behavior. They're far more promiscuous. This is just a fact. It's a sociological fact about gay marriage. And many other details and stats that we can bring about the kinds of harms that come from gay marriage and homosexual behavior in general. And this is important. This is the religious side that at the beginning Johnathan Brown said, me and Sheikh Omar, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. That's irrelevant. Okay? It's extremely relevant. It's extremely relevant because this is what leads to the destruction of a society versus a situation that's far better for everyone, far better for believers. Okay? It's better for believers to live in a society where fewer people are engaged in israf, in these kinds of lusts, in transgressing against Allah. It's better. So we want the government to restrict marriage, to make these behaviors illegal as they were prior to modernization, prior to the sexual revolution, where these behaviors were prohibited, where there was social taboo and social sanction. That is what we want. What Ratio and Johnathan Brown is arguing and Dr. Shadi is sitting and nodding his head to, we don't want that. That's destruction. That's as is clear from the Quran and from what we see all around us.